Welcome to a new video, everybody. Hope you're doing well. It's an amazing day outside, beautiful weather, and I have some really great news from one of my shrimp tanks. Let's go take a look. Let's actually start by giving each tank a little bit of food so we can take a better look at the shrimp. So I got some of these samples from Danila Shrimp King range. So I've been using this mineral for the past few days. Shrimp been really crazy about that. And now let's try this one, the protein. So let me show you why I'm so excited today. So over here we have the Blue Dream shrimp tank, and it's been exactly 1 week since I've added 5 more of the Blue Dream shrimp in here. I originally bought 10 of them about a month ago, but I had the idea that I only got females. So a week ago I went back to my local fish store, bought 5 more of them, and asked them to make sure there were some males in there, so we have a nice mix of males and females. And the past few days I started noticing with the females that they have this saddle on their back basically, and what that means is that they have this sort of light triangular shaped patch on their just behind their head, and that's basically an indicator that they're ready to carry eggs. So it's super exciting. And when I turned on the lights this morning, I actually already saw 1 female with eggs. Here we go. That's our pregnant lady over there. Seems like she's carrying quite a lot of eggs in her belly. So super exciting. So in general, shrimp carry eggs for about 25 days. So hopefully by the end of this month we should see some baby Blue Dream shrimplets in this tank. So yeah, I'm really happy with how this shrimp tank is developing. I still see at least 3 or 4 more females with this saddle on their back. So hopefully by the end of this month we have quite a shrimp population in here. So this tank has now been up and running for 6.5 weeks, and I'm still on the first recipe with the DOI-CO2. Bubbles are starting to slow down a little bit, so I think it's now time to replace it. But yeah, I mean 6.5 to 7 weeks with 1 recipe of DOI-CO2, I think that's quite impressive. I've also just changed the lights on this tank. I'm now using the Twinstar B series. And before I was using the Gyros A2, that's the one over there, but I need that one for our new Twinscape experiment. We need 2 of the exact same lights. So this tank now has the Twinstar B series, which is also a nice light. I have the same light over here in the yellow shrimp tank, which we'll get to in a minute. The only thing I haven't done yet in the past 7 weeks is clean the filter. And I start noticing that the water is basically just flowing over the filter sponges and not so much through it. So I think it's time we give that filter sponge a little clean. So filtration is very simple. We have a little bit of biological media that I took from one of my other filters. Then there's a small cartridge with a sponge. I think in the cartridge we have some fine filter floss. I took a little jug of tank water from that shrimp tank. So I've rinsed this little sponge. We have some nice disgusting water that's perfect for our houseplants. And then we have this stuff right here. So this is just impossible to clean. I don't know why filter companies make this stuff. I guess they just want to sell you these replacement cartridges, which is just a waste of money. So instead, I'm just gonna use a little bit of this, the filter wool, place that in the filter, and then we're good to go again. So that was the update on the Blue Dream shrimp tank. Let's see if we're gonna have some more pregnant ladies soon. Now let's move over to this one right here with the yellow shrimp. So this tank, guys, it just keeps surprising me. This one has been up and running since December or January. So yeah, almost 4 or 5 months. And it's been running without a filter all this time, and I can't believe how well it's just doing without a filter. The water is absolutely crystal clear, plants are growing super fast, and shrimp are doing really good as well. Actually, some of the plants are starting to grow out of the water. So here you can see the Ludwigia palustris growing out, and behind the light we have some rotala growing out. The shrimp, they have been in here for just a week now, so we don't have any pregnant ladies here just yet. Although I do see some of them with this saddle. So let's see if we can find one. Yeah, I think this way we can see it. So of course you see this white stripe along the entire back. But just below that you also see like a little stripe. Yeah, that's called a saddle. And that's basically yeah, the first step to carrying eggs. So how many do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I think I saw one on this side. Yeah, over there in the moss. That's 9. And then there's one in the floating plants over there. So that's 10, so that's perfect. And to be honest with you, I can't remember the last time I trimmed this tank. So it's, yeah, definitely starting to become a very stable and very low maintenance little tank. Very happy with that. Can't wait to see the yellow shrimp starting to breed as well. So let's hope that will happen soon. Let's move over to the red cherry shrimp tank. So this one has been up and running since end of January. So it just passed 3 months basically. And yeah, this is another tank that I'm really happy with. It's a bit more high tech compared to the other two. We have the Twinstar E series light, which is quite powerful. We have pressurized CO2 injection, and I'm running a small external canister filter, the Oase Filto Smart 60. So this is a bit more high tech. And what I really love about this aquarium is actually the carpet. So in here we mostly have Marsilea crenata, and you guys might remember that in the Twinscape I used Marsilea hirsuta, which is basically like the bigger version of this plant, but also grows a bit faster. So it grows a bit taller, a bit faster, and this is like the mini version of that plant. It grows a bit slower, and guys, if you want a low maintenance carpet, this is the one. Like I said, I've set this tank up in the end of January. It's now 1st of May, 2nd of May, something like that. And I still haven't trimmed the carpet once, so super low maintenance. Very happy with that. I've also recently added some moss on these rocks. This is a very rare type of moss called Bucephalandra moss. Something you don't see very often, but I think it looks very cool on these rocks. So I've had these cherry shrimp for a very long time already. They've been breeding a lot, sometimes also mixing with less colorful shrimp. So the whole population in here is a little bit, yeah, unstable, I guess. We have a lot of different grades of redness. Some of them are really vibrant red, some of them are really pale, and some of them have only like patches, like the red Riley shrimp. So what I want to do with this tank is actually try to bring the redness back to the shrimp. So I'm going to remove the ugly ones and only keep the ones in here that are super vibrant red. And hopefully this way we can keep on breeding them and only breed very red cherry shrimp. That's what I'm trying to accomplish here. Okay, so I just spent about 10-15 minutes catching the least colorful shrimp out of this tank. Of course I can keep doing this all day, but it's a bit of a tedious job, so I think this just has to become a new routine, you know, like every week. Spend a little bit of time trying to catch the least colorful shrimp, trying to remove them, and then hopefully within a month or so we will end up with only red shrimp in here. So this is our catch. It's a bit hard to see, but yeah, you can see that a lot of them are very pale and a bit patchy as well. So these guys will go into, I think, that scape over there on the table. That one could use some more shrimp. So that was basically the update on all 3 shrimp tanks. Then lastly on the bottom we have the 2 empty tanks. That's going to be the new Twinscape experiment. I think it was 2 weeks ago that I asked you guys to vote for what you want to see next. So you guys could choose between no CO2 versus liquid CO2 or liquid carbon, whatever you want to call it. Tap water versus RO water, lean dosing versus estimated index dosing, and Twinstar algae inhibitor versus no algae inhibitor. So this one here got around 2.1k votes, and 44% chose the tap water versus RO water. So that's going to be the next experiment. I actually have the RO unit here. I got a new RO unit from Arca Aquatics. This is the Arca My Aqua 190. So this one does 190 liters of RO water in 24 hours. So I'm going to set this one up and then we can get started with that new Twinscape experiment. Super exciting.